Hey guys, welcome to Peripheral Vision, and today we're taking a look at the Asciipad from AsciiWare for the Super Nintendo. And what this fundamentally is a Super Nintendo controller with a bunch of turbo switches slapped onto it. Now, if it sounds like I'm saying that in a derogatory way, that's actually not the case at all. I really like this controller. Let's take a look over at the right. You can see this is pretty traditional. They use the Super Famicom color scheme, which I personally like because it looks like candy. The left is also pretty standard, same with the start and select. The L and R triggers, though, are a little bit sloped to accommodate for the location of the switches, and that actually works pretty well because it helps fit your hand better, especially for fighting games where you'll be using the L and R pretty frequently. And let's be honest, if you're using a turbo controller a lot, then you're probably going to be using it for fighting games, so that works as a whole. And let's take a look at the actual switches themselves. As you can see, go up close, there are three settings for each of the turbo switches. The first is off, which means it doesn't do anything. The second is turbo, so if the A, for example, was switched to turbo, and I held the A button, it would strike A repeatedly. And then the third is auto, which is auto fire, so if I put it all the way to the right, I wouldn't have to press anything, and A would just be pressed repeatedly. So, really great. There's a turbo switch for all the buttons, in fact, R, L, X, Y, A, and B. So, again, it really caters itself to fighting games. And then we have the slow button, which is a relic from controllers past, and if you flick that on, it will press the start button over and over, which will simulate slower gameplay via the pausing of the game. And that's pretty much everything that has to go onto an AsciiWare Asciipad. I would say this, if you need a controller that has turbo functionality and uses it well, I would suggest using the Asciipad. Not only do all of the buttons and the controller feel look good, but every single one of the functions of the controller still works to this day. And usually with controllers that have a lot of bells and whistles, at least one of those bells and whistles just decides to stop working. So a lot of credit to AsciiWare for making a strong, well-built controller that I would highly recommend. Later days.